So Zimbabwe has revoked visas to US citizens until new outcome. They say very clearly, from now on, US citizens will not get visas because one journalist who was in Zimbabwe for some work went back to the United States and unveiled some secret or some personal state material that he was not supposed to possess. So he went and revealed some state material, some state information, some undisclosed information to the public platform. And this has enraged some of the most prominent figures in Zimbabwe, and they have said temporarily will stop US citizens from getting visas to Zimbabwe. What do you think of this? I think this shows a level of power and consideration. If you take into account the fact that the US would do the same, the US, if you look at the way that the US treated Edward Snowden and Julian Assange for leaking some personal information, some very sensitive material. I mean, these people were condemned. They look like they killed people. They brought the information to the light, to everybody to see. But finally, they made them look like traitors, like they've killed people with the atomic bomb. That's exactly how it was. Somebody intelligent said, he said the government will make weak people look like evil and evil people look like good people. I can't remember who said that. Please, if you remember who said that, just write it on the comment to help me remember. Yeah, so Zimbabwe is led right now by a president who's a soldier, military. As you know, soldiers have some kind of way of thinking. They're very strict, especially when they're well taken care of. I personally believe a military or a person who's been in the army, if he's an educated man, if he's a structured man, are usually very interesting people to have as leaders because they're not easily pushed over. I mean, you remember just a while back, Zimbabwe received choppers, helicopters from Russia. Zimbabwe is under sanction for many, many years, so they cannot get anything from anybody. They cannot export their goods. They cannot import goods. How are they supposed to live? I don't know, because some people in the Western countries felt like what Robert Mugabe was doing was unacceptable, was unjust, whether it was unjust or not. How many people in the world do unjust things? What are the repercussions that they get for unjustifiable things that they do in the world? I don't think that was fair. Again, Robert Mugabe was trying to look after his people. It doesn't really matter how it came across. His goal initially, for those who don't know, was to give the lands back to his people. Because Zimbabwe was colonized by Britain, many British people came to Zimbabwe owning land and became farmers. They stayed there for many, many years and made children and a lot of that. So normally you would think these people have become Zimbabweans, as they said it themselves. But unfortunately, as soon as they made money, as soon as the results came at end of years, they will send the money out of Zimbabwe and back to England. And that infuriated the president, Robert Mugabe. He didn't like that. He said, if you truly are Zimbabweans, why don't you invest into the Zimbabwean economy? Why do you have to send your money out the country? It's unacceptable. That shows that somewhere in your heart, from here, you know you don't belong. I mean, many people come from different countries going to other countries and really submerge themselves within the culture. They become naturally people from those cultures. But when you come to a place, then you make money and send money back to another place. That clearly shows that you're not interested to be there. You're not interested in the culture. Zimbabwe was subjected to sanctions for many, many years. Therefore, obviously, when for many years you are sanctioned, you cannot purchase, you cannot buy, you cannot exchange. But you find somebody from the other side who's sanctioned too, who's willing to bring you things that you could not get from the other guys. What do? You interact with this person. You make friends with him, right? Because you're going through the same difficulties. And for that, I think props to the president of Zimbabwe for showing so much strength.
Zimbabwe and the region around us, in particular Mozambique and Malawi, are prone to cyclones. When these attack us because we don't have capacity, we try to beg from those countries who have capacity. Yes, of course, we have South Africa, our neighbor here. They have capacity, they come and help us. But today we stand tall with these helicopters because when these cyclones strike us again, look at this capacitation. Recently, we're experiencing pressure from certain Western countries that we should not go to Petersburg in July for the Africa-Russian Federation Summit. Not long ago, a few months ago, African heads of state were in Washington. Russia never complained. You can continue speculating in your own minds.
A while back, for those of you who know, something very interesting went between Uganda and the United States. I mean, not just the United States, but some international entities when they were trying to push the gay agenda to the Ugandan people, when they wanted to say that Uganda should not vote a law into place that prohibited men and men marriage. The result of it today is very interesting. I want you to see. The president of the parliament of Uganda, Anita Among's visa has been revoked. So as a punishment, because you voted this law that is not a law that we like, we're going to revoke your visas. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? I just personally feel like it's some kind of a warning to other people. Okay, we're going to start with her. Okay, your visa's revoked. So you guys watch out. Now listen to this man. I'm going to make a comment right after.
But my challenge to the Western world is that don't single out individuals. Do it to all of us. Then we will know that you are fair.
Don't single out individuals. Do it to all of us. What does he mean? Don't single out Anita Among, who is the president of the parliament of Uganda, by revoking her visa. Do it to all of us. Just, you know, it's very easy to attack one person when you have an issue with a group of people. When you attack one of them, okay, if he's the strongest one and you beat them, everybody else will be fearful, right? But if you attack everybody, how much are your chances of winning? Very slim. Okay, so he's saying, don't do it to one of us. Do it to all of us. In a midpoint.
I was speaking to my colleagues in Ghana. In Ghana, they've even gone ahead to threaten freezing accounts. Freezing accounts. And slapping bans on international banking institutions that partner with the US banks and other financial institutions. So if you have monies on your accounts and you have a salary, remove it.
Wow. You hear that? So he says he's spoken to his colleagues in Ghana. They've threatened to freeze their accounts because Ghana obviously was not, willing to play that game of being told what to do in Ghana. Ghana refused categorically to be playing this game of, whatever this game they're trying to play. Therefore, they've threatened to freeze their account. We're going to freeze your account. And because some of these banking institutions cooperate with Western companies, they've threatened those institutions saying, if you're holding accounts of these people, we're going to threaten you into not operating correctly. And he says, if you have money into these institutions, you better remove it. Okay, so this is why I'm saying, and I'm not very much, if this is what's happening right now, just to say that if you don't agree with us, we can freeze your account. What's going to happen when digital money comes into place? Like right now, if they freeze your account and you withdrew $10,000, you can still survive for a while until you find another way of living. Now, what's going to happen if there's no money, there's no cash, everything's digital? What are you going to do? And you are clapping saying, yeah, welcome to digital money? No, man, you've got to, I don't know what to say. So once again, props to African fellas, African family, African brothers for showing strength. I think we shouldn't be bullied around all the time. I believe it should be a win-win situation, respecting each other. If you have something interesting you think you want to convey to us, talk to us nicely, don't threaten us. And if we're okay with it, good. If we're not necessarily okay with it, it should be good too. Why do we have to live the same way? We shouldn't. Because we're different. Unless you have other agenda. God bless.